So talk to us a little bit about your fish, Jake.
Um,
What made him special?
what made him special was that he did a lot. He was our main fish to go to for like testing and stuff. Like Jake would swim backwards because the aerator would it's too much pressure for him to swim normally, but he still swam fast for the little guy. And then he would also be clumped up in one side of the tank and at the top, always at the top. And he made like best friends with Jim and never really hung out with Vontae at all.
So talk about your fish. Who did you have?
So mine was the biggest one, of course, a natural leader. I named him Vontae after one of my favorite K-pop idols. He kind of dubbed himself that name when he was doing photography. So I decided to name him that because I thought it was a really pretty name.
So tell us a bit about him. How does he look like? Size.
Like I said, he's bigger than all the other fish. So, of course, he was, I think he felt a little out of place. He didn't fit in with the other fish. I think it kind of made him sad a little bit. I think that's probably why he always swam to me when I came to the tank. He's orange. Love his beautiful colors.
My fish was Jim. He was the middle child. He was kind of boring in comparison. He had pretty colors, actually. A nice yellow and orange fin and coloring. But he was quite bland. We didn't really experiment on him at all. Jim and Jake hung around a lot, kind of in the same little clump. They didn't really care for Vontae too much. I think he was a little too big for them, a little too intimidating, perhaps. I'd have to study more of their fish behaviors to truly know, but jokingly, they bullied him.
Talk about getting Jake. You bought him, right?
I bought him. I bought all three of them.
How was that?
It was a little stressful getting the right prices and like having enough money and like going to the pet store and all that. But in the end, it was worth it.
Let's talk about the foreshadowing in the project. We had this idea set, but we were all very nervous because we did not know whether or not our tank could be self-sufficient. What happened?
So I think one of my partners, Ella, was very vocal about how much we would absolutely fail. And me, being a Sagittarius optimist, I thought the exact opposite. I thought it would go really well. And I had faith.
A quick breakdown of guppies. They are freshwater tropical organisms. They naturally live in the South America, so places like Trinidad, Netherlands, Brazil, Venezuela, many pretty places like that. They thrive in certain environments, right? So in order for our guppies to thrive, we figured why not recreate their environment. So we tried to introduce Malaysian trumpet snails, which coexist with them naturally, peacefully. And hopefully we decided, hey, let's try Sagittaria plant. But that fell through, and I will let my teammates tell you guys about that.
Yeah, we struggled getting a plant for them for a while. We're surprised that they lived for as long as they did without one. And in the end, we just never trusted a shady website anymore. And we got a plant off the same place where we got the guppies. So, like, they would survive longer.
We wanted to make a self-sufficient tank, meaning there was no intervention on our part. So we needed it to have biological filtration versus chemical or mechanical filtration. So we had no filter, rather just one aerator to make sure oxygen was flowing properly through the tank. We would not feed them. Instead, we had a plant put inside, and they would feed off the zooplankton around the tank and off the plant. The decomposer to take care of all the substrate and the bacteria building up, which could become toxic, and the plant to, help curate that. Biological filtrations are filtration from Mother Nature. The biological filtration process is just the nitrogen cycle. So bacteria in the tank breaks down the ammonia, right? A substance that in large quantities would be toxic to our guppies. It's then converted to nitrite. The bacteria that does that specifically is the nitrosomos. The nitrobacteria use the nitrate as energy, and they convert it to nitrate. Anaerobes convert nitrate back to ammonia and then to nitrogen gas, which could be used by our plants. Our tank was successfully self-sufficient. As you can see, the ammonia originated on 314. We checked it as 1 ppm. By 411, it went down to 0.5. Same thing with nitrite. Originally at 10, down to 0, and with nitrate from 0.25 to 40. That may seem like a big number, but these are all great numbers. These all mean that the processes are taking place correctly, and the nitrogen cycle has taken place, and our fish are in a healthy range, and they will survive in our tank. In order to control our nitrite levels, we made sure to feed our fish sparingly, ergo they fed themselves, so we really didn't have to worry about that. And we had plenty of water changes throughout the tank. We had about 4 in total because we had a high evaporation level in our tank. I think it was mainly on the location of where the tank was located. Our nitrate included, again, feeding our fish sparingly, having a small fish population in reference to our total size. So we had a 10-ish gallon tank. We made sure not to overfill it with a bunch of guppies so we can control the nitrate level, which could be toxic to our fishies. And we had sufficiently aged water, making sure that we didn't just pour in tap water. We made sure to let it sit, right? Or at least have it dechlorinated so it would not be harmful to our fish.
Now, saying goodbye to these fish, how was that for you?
It was hard. It was like I was with my kid for like 9 years, basically. That's how I saw it. And just him up and going to college, because he's a gifted child, I would say. He didn't need to go to Harvard. He bought Harvard, made it his own, and now he's on his own.
You know, your kids grow up, they go off somewhere else, and my job as a mother was done, and I was ready to leave it up to nature to take him. He's a big boy. I'm sure he'll be perfectly fine. Love him. He'll get all the ladies with his trilingual kingness, like, yes.
Follow me. I'll show you where they're at now, how they're living their best life. Here, see, it might not look the best, but in reality, they have more friends now. They're happier now. This is where they're meant to be.
If I had to say one more thing to my son, I would go, Jim, my bland little boy, I hope all is well, and that you're still best friends with Jake and you still bully Vante because he deserves it.
안녕, 반테. 잘 지냈어요? 사랑해요.
How are you seeing this video?